John Beltran, Dave Urick, back from Beat Digger Stadium. No, we're not here at Beat Digger Stadium. We're at Mike Gabriel Stadium on the campus of Holy Family High School in Broomfield. This is the Beat Diggers' first regular season road game. I think, Dave, it was wishful thinking because the conditions were ideal last weekend at Beat Digger Stadium, but a little bit different tonight. It's not horrible, but it's obviously cooler. Like you mentioned, there is humidity. We have some mist here. And I think if it stays like this, there will, I guess it'll give way to somewhat of a passing game. It will not be limited to being a ground game on both sides. However, if it worsens, there's no question about it that the passing game will be extremely limited on both sides.
Yeah, if it gets wet, that always shuts it down. But I'm looking over here at the flag on the south end of the field, and it's wiggling a little bit, but mostly it's hanging straight down, so not a lot of wind and just not that wet. I imagine that grass is a little wet out there, but you can bet they're going to come out. I think the Diggers are going to come out and try to establish that running game.
All right, we'll bring you the Beat Diggers starting lineup momentarily, brought to you by Walmart. And it looks like the Beat Diggers will receive the opening kickoff. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your one-stop shopping center, 1300 North Barlow Road in Fort Morgan, is Walmart, part of the KSIR B106 scholarship program. And the Beat Diggers will have a little bit of a different look to the offensive line. Aaron Waters, who was hurt last week, is in there tonight. But, of course, it'll be Arturo Matos quarterbacking, and in the backfield will be Tyler Booth and Isaac Brost, Seth James and Bradley Bass, the big receivers, and, of course, Ryan Dreitz, that is, the tight end, will set up the offensive line with the Beat Diggers get out to the field. Brush is coached by Randy Dreitz in his 9th year. The assistants are Ron Albo, Lance Schwint, Dick Creighton, Matt Manier, Ken Garcia, and David Cummings. Mike D. Gabriel is the head coach of the Holy Family Tigers. Brad Bear is the assistant, along with Del Bishop, Mike Burke, Albert Castillo, Don Clay, Mike Gabriel, Monty Mondragon, Eric Nagamaya, Brandon Orr, Paul Panazzo, Mike Rivera, Chris Summers, and Bob Watson. A very heavy staff here at Holy Family High School in Broomfield. The Beat Diggers are dressed in their road whites with the maroon numerals, and Holy Family in their home purple uniforms with the gold numerals and the gold pants. And back deep to receive for the Beat Diggers as the kickoff is brought to you by Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard. Ackley offers everything you need to build, remodel, or repair, from paint to storm doors and windows to lumber and building materials. Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush. And Brad Bass is back there. It looks like Tanner Morrow might be back there as well on special teams. And Jonathan Gary will kick it off for Holy Family. And the second game of the 2008 season is underway. A high, very deep kick, and it goes into the end zone about 5 yards deep. Dave, that might not be a bad thing because the Beat Diggers last week a couple of times started inside their own 20.
Yeah, you know, we keep jinxing the poor special teams units, but this time they get to take possession of the ball on the 20. They didn't have to risk fumbling the ball down there, dropping it, having a miscue early in the game, and now they can just take their time and come out and start to execute.
Chad Linker's on that offensive line along with Aaron Waters and Daniel Rubacalba. Brad Quillen as well. And Jose Canamad. First down and 10 from the 20. The backs are split. Brost and Booth. There's a handoff to the first back and a hard run by Tyler Booth across the 25 to the 26. Tripped up over there by Thomas Lambert, the free safety, the junior. But it's a gain of 6. And Levi Brenneman, of course, is in on that offensive line as well for the Beat Diggers. Second down and 4.
For all those old Beat Digger football players back home and those middle school football players, Brush just ran a 24 right there where they just ran a dive to their halfback straight ahead on the right side.
Out to the left are James and Shea Hansen as the receivers, 2 more out to the right. The lone setback is Brost, 2nd and 4. Montos back to throw over the middle, complete to Hansen at the 32. He spins his way across the 35 to the 37, holding on for dear life as about 3 Tigers bring him down to the ground, and that was Lambert again making the initial hit. But it's a gain of 11 yards and a Beat Digger first down. Give him 12 on the play.
Boy, it was a strike, too. Maltos didn't have any trouble hitting him in the numbers there. And Shea caught the ball with his hand. He turned and caught the ball with his hands. He didn't trap it up against his body. And you know, for 170 pounds, he's big and strong. It wasn't easy for those Holy Family kits to try to bring him down.
The Bay Diggers lining up on the left side of this football field, 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. The backs are split this time. One receiver split to the left and right. Maltos with a hard count, and there's movement on the right side of the Beat Digger offensive line that'll cost them 5 yards, setting up a 1st and 15, and those are mistakes the Beat Diggers obviously have to avoid.
Yeah, you can't have that. You know, the Diggers want to come out. They want to be able to go on 2 and go on different counts, and that's one of the things that's really worked for them over in the past. One of the reasons they like to go on 2 is because it keeps the defense from being able to blitz so much.
For all of your title needs, visit Tim Weimer at Northern Colorado Title, 205 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan. That's Northern Colorado Title. So the Beat Diggers have a 1st and 15 at their own 33-yard line. We remember last week that the first quarter was very sloppy with both teams, the Mustangs and Beat Diggers. Again, same formation. Maltos will hand it off to the back running to his right. That might have been Brost that time. It was, and he got right back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard to the 34, and that was it.
You know, I concentrated on that offensive line, and boy, when the ball was snapped, they all got off quick, and they were firing right into that Holy Family defensive line. Brush tried to run it off tackle over to the right side. It looked like it might have been a 26, but a play to their fullback over the right tackle, and there was just nothing there. Holy Family just stood everybody up.
The 6'4", 270-pound senior Mark Harvey made the tackle. 2nd down and 14 for Brush at their own 34-yard line. Under 10 minutes to go in the opening quarter. No score. Trips to the right. Maltos is back to pass. He slips, but he doesn't fall down. Now he's sacked at the 26-yard line as the protection broke down, and Colton Emich, the 6'2", 215-pound junior, brought Maltos down to the ground for a loss of around 6 yards in the play.
Yeah, he kind of slipped there, and he got his left hand on the ground. It's like he kind of squatted down, if you could imagine that, and he put his hand down. He kept his balance, but as soon as he stood up, his pocket just collapsed on him.
It'll be 3rd and 21 for Brush. The mark to make is the 48. They're at the 27-yard line. As the Beat Diggers taking their time in the huddle. At this point, getting the first down might not be as important as just trying to establish better field position. 21 yards, obviously hard to make up in any situation, let alone 3rd down. Maltos on 3rd down and 21 for the 27. That's a hard count. And now we'll hand it off right up the gut. And a huge haul across the 35 to the 40, into the clearance, close to the 50, down the sideline to the 40. He's knocked out of bounds at around the 38-yard line. It's a big gainer for Isaac Brost of about 39 yards and a Beat Digger first down.
You know, Brush came out, and you know Holy Family's thinking pass. They've got to pass the ball. That's what made it such a great play, but it's also the play that Greg Geno made famous years ago, where they go out, they show pass, and then they hand off that trap right up the middle.
Give him 35 yards in the play. Early on in the season, still redoing my math, but boy, it was pretty obvious, Dave, that Holy Family wasn't expecting that at all.
You know, Brost isn't a really big fullback either, but it shows why the coaches like him back there. Once he got through that first line of defense, he showed a lot of speed as he cut that thing to the sideline.
In Holy Family territory, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. One receiver out to the right, and a handoff to the second back, and breaking a tackle and getting to the 35-yard line. Looked like Brost again before he's tackled after the gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. It looked like the big defensive tackle was in on the play, and that was Mark Harvey, again at 6'4", 270.
Brush came out, and they faked the dive straight ahead, and then the fullback kind of crosses behind the halfback, and they hand it off tackle. And that time it worked out for some positive yards. When they ran that the time before on the right side, there was nothing there.
The Beat Diggers started this drive on their own 22nd down, and we have movement in the backfield again. This time it was in the backfield. The first time the Beat Diggers committed the penalty, it was on the offensive line, so there's some miscommunication. You don't expect this in this game, especially when you figure that you've worked out these things in practice.
You know, they're just trying to go on too, and they've got a few guys out there that got to do a little better job of focusing and making sure their brain's present in the moment and knowing what the count is.
2nd down and 12 for the Beat Diggers at the Holy Family 40. They've chewed up 4.5 minutes of game time and are methodically moving the ball down the field. Well, at least it's methodical, even though they did have the big 35-yard run by Isaac Brost on a 3rd and 21 where he picked up 35. The outside receiver to the right is Bradley Bass. And this time, play action. Maltos throws over the middle. That pass is incomplete. 2 receivers in the area. Went off the hands of Ryan Dry to the 28-yard line. Shea Henson was about a yard away from Dreitz, and it looked like it still should have been caught.
Yeah, it probably should have been caught, but something bad must have happened there because the two receivers are there in the same spot, and you hate to see that as an offensive coordinator because then it only takes one defensive back to cover two guys.
Well, Matos has thrown a couple of passes, but I'll say this, Dave, he looks pretty good so far. A lot better than last week in the early going, at least with a passing game.
Yeah, he's thrown two passes. One was caught and one was catchable, so definitely a lot better than last week.